What's happening, Amos? Dan Lawless here, back with another transfer video. As you guys know, the January transfer window is opening up very soon, so we're back to talking about all the transfer news and rumours. This video is sponsored by OneFootball. OneFootball's app makes it easy for you guys to keep up to date with all the goals, all the stats, and even all the news. That's right, transfer news. With the transfer window coming up, it's a good way to keep up with what's going on in West Ham. You can select West Ham as your favourite team and it will tailor that to you. The link is in the description below. Let us know what you think of it. Anyway, moving on, right, a couple of stories. This is more to deal with potential players leaving the club. At the moment, we're still, I think, getting a lot of sort of erratic news in terms of who's coming in. Nothing really concrete enough for me at the moment, but we'll have some stuff to talk about in the coming days. First of all, the story that Rhys Oxford is being watched by Manchester City and Borussia Dortmund. With a view to possibly signing him. As you know, he's fallen out of favour. He hasn't really featured in a long time. He's got 2 years left on his contract, and several big tabloids and things like that are reporting that these two big clubs are in for him, which didn't surprise me. Not so much because of the player himself, just because of who his agent is and the sort of tactics we've seen employed in the past. Now, Rhys Oxford, of course, has not played in the first team since I think he got a run out last season or something in the Premier League, like one start, not even I think it was a start or a sub. I think it was a start or something like that. I can't actually remember. If you used to ask me exactly what game and when he played, I just know it's been a long time, and he hasn't really featured heavily in the side that much since early 2015 season. So it's, very shocking that Man City and Dortmund would be like, yes, this is the guy for me. Obviously, he was highly, highly rated, and he just hasn't lived up to it. He's had a few loan spells that haven't really gone, amazingly. He had his Gladbach loan spell that he done all right in. They was happy with him. He seemed to have, a ton of starts there, but these are the sort of tactics where his agent, who is the same agent as Raheem Sterling and Domingos Quina, has employed before. We saw it with Quina in the summer transfer window, where we were starting to hear, Barcelona looking to sign Quina, and we was all like, what? It's like, yeah, Barcelona coming in for him. Now everyone's thinking, what if Barcelona want him? He's got to be amazing. Don't sell, don't sell. All of a sudden he ends up at Watford, of all the clubs, right? Which shows it's, and I know it's for what the guy does is he'll offer like a deal to a tabloid and say, listen, if you print this story about my agent Quina or Oxford, I'll give you some exclusive with Sterling or something like that. He will leak these false stories to try and raise the profile of his client, to try and get a better deal and have more clubs coming in for him. So maybe if people are going, if Man City and Dortmund want him, he must be good. Let's go and try and put a bid in. It's pathetic, really. I can't stand his agent at all. And it's a shame. I really did have high hopes for Oxford. I think he comes across like a nice lad who's maybe a bit ill-advised. And we had a lot of high hopes for him, but I think there was a lot of pressure on him very early from that Arsenal game where everyone said he pocketed Ozil. It'd be sad to see him go in one way, because we did hope that he'd be a future West Ham captain and he would have a bright future here. It hasn't worked out. If we can get 10 mil plus for him, I'm happy with that, but I cannot see him going to Man City or Dortmund. And if he did, he'd be one of these going out on loan all the time. I can't see him really breaking in unless he goes and does realise his full potential. Maybe it has just been a difficult couple of years. I wish him all the best. Whatever he does, I wish him all the best. Another little story actually about Rhys Oxford, which is sort of, I wouldn't say it's sad, but it's an unfortunate story. He's a victim of theft. He had a 18-karat gold watch stolen from the changing rooms in Chadwell Heath. And people think, he's got a load of money, poor kid, who cares? It's just a watch, rich bastard, or whatever people would say. But you know what makes it so unfortunate is that it was a gift from his mother on his 18th birthday. You know, so however much it costs, there's sentimental value there that you just can't replace. So it is sad. Police are investigating it. Unfortunately, because there's children, you know, who train there and go in, they don't have CCTV in the changing rooms, and quite rightly so. However, you know, I find it shocking that if there aren't any CCTV outside of the changing rooms, that would be very surprising to me, because, you know, you have to have some sort, especially when children are around, there has to be a level of security and things like that. And if we can't have any CCTV to see who the bloke coming out and who's a suspicious looking person, you know, hopefully they do recover the watch for him. Like I said, he's always seemed like a nice kid to me. And yeah, we'll leave that one there. Finally, what I want to talk about is Andy Carroll. Big Andy, right, let's get this up. He's come out and he's sort of released a few statements about his future at West Ham. Just sort of mention how, you know, he sort of wants to stay. You know, he's come out. Let me read some of what he said. It's important for me to get back playing and get fully fit and show that I deserve another deal here. Be great if I can get it. If not, we'll see what happens. But at the minute, I'm focused on staying here, and that's where my head is at. Yeah, I feel I don't have to score to make an impact. I've always said that. I think dragging defenders away and creating space for others to get in position, that's something I do a lot. You see the goals that we scored. I think there was more space for the lads to get shots away. Whether the centre halves are focused on following me for a cross or whatever, I think even if I don't get on the score sheet or assist, I cause problems. And I think he's absolutely right there. He's absolutely right. We saw that against Palace, that he, you know, just being on the pitch, you know, he is, you know, someone that gives defenders, you know, and a lot of other players like something to worry about and something to think about. And, you know, you don't know what Andy Carroll's going to do. He is so dangerous in the air and in other ways, you know, and he's a handful. So it does open up space. So look, I think he's absolutely right. You know, he hasn't got to really sell West Ham fans on why he is of value to the club as a player when playing. The thing is, it's his injuries. It's that when he's not playing, which is quite often, you know, like, and his deal's coming up at the end of the year. I've said, me personally, he has to stay fit till the end of the season for me to consider it, and then maybe look at a 1-year deal, 2-year, no more than, if he really did impress to the end of the season. Now he's realising, crap, like my contract is coming to the end now. This is it. Maybe he will start buckling down off the pitch. I mean, when he's on the pitch, he puts in a shift, no doubt about it. You know, and it's hard. We've all wanted to see more of that Andy Carroll. When he comes on, you know, he's always looked like a threat. We've wanted to see more of him at the club, and you always think what could have been. But he's on a lot of money, 90 grand a week. If he isn't going to be able to stay fit, and, you know, it's very highly unlikely that he will be able to stay fit, then we've just got to let him go. Yeah, it is a shame, but I think a lot of it, he just hasn't really taken his career as serious as perhaps he should have. You know, that's just my opinion and the opinions of a few other people. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Let me know what you think. Rhys Oxford, keep or sell? And, you know, let me know what you think about Big Andy. What should we do? Does he deserve another chance? Should we give him another chance? Should we extend it? Or is it just, should we just give up on him and lose all hope on Andy Carroll? Leave your comments in the description below. No, that's where you find the OneFootball app link. In the comments section below. Leave your comments there. I want to read what you guys say. Subscribe. More content coming this week. I'm going to be doing a collaboration with the Fulhamish pod for ahead of the Fulham game, and there'll be all sorts of stuff coming out soon. So one thing left to say, come on you Irons.